Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a great week. Hope your weekend's off to a great start. This is season 10, episode 26 of the podcast. I cannot believe that. 10 seasons in, man. We're moving right along. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I would like to say up front. Be on the lookout for episode 27. With the Washington Commanders preview. Week 2 of the NFL season is among us. We Washington plays the Lions. You should have already now seen episode 24 with the Game 3 recap of WNBA Finals. I will try to have all 3 videos up before the games start tomorrow. A couple things before we get into it. I do not have a specific date as of right now when season 10 will end. I'm leaning towards whenever the WNBA Finals is over. That way we can transition to get ready for playoffs for baseball because we have 18 games as of today. So, and then we can go right into football, college football, NFL, college football, then college basketball is upon us soon. So be tuned in for that. But as you see in the title of this video, we are giving a preview week 2, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins. However, I will not doing this alone. I have a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Bobby Wills.
Hey, how are we doing?
Bobby, how's it going, man?
Not too bad.
Welcome to Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Thank you. Appreciate you. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes. So, Bobby, you Dolphins fan. Like, what are your expectations as a Dolphins fan this season?
I would hope to make the playoffs. For one, 2, to see the offense really start to take big strides. The defense we already know is pretty good. Realistically, on the high end of wins this year, I'd say maybe we could get to 11.
Okay.
And the least I would say would probably be 9.
Okay. How do you like the acquisition of Tyreek Hill?
Loving it so far. I mean, not just with his ability on the field, but everything else he brings with him to the locker room. He's put a lot of confidence in Tua, and just his energy just brings so much to that team that they were lacking sorely for, a few years now.
What are you liking about the new Coach McDaniel?
McDaniel,
excuse me. What do you like about him so far?
Love that guy. He's he's no nonsense. Like people say, oh, he comes across as nerdy and this and that. Like, how could this guy really know anything about football? Like, if you look at him on the surface, sure. But everything I've heard about, past current players that have played for him, and, in San Francisco, even in Washington, way back when, they've all had great things to say about him. The guy's a genius. He's a player's coach. He gets down to their level personally. You know what I mean? Like, and if you do something wrong, he'll call you out on it. But, it's the anti Brian Flores. Definitely.
I got you. So, like, do you feel like, I'm not sure, I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you feel Brian Flores should have been fired? Or should have stayed in one more year?
Based off performance alone, having 2 winning seasons in a row, but still failing to make the playoffs, like, based off that, no. But I just feel the situation with Tua and all the drama behind that, are they going to bring in Deshaun Watson and all that going on, and everything else that none of us did see behind closed doors with the front office and all that. And I guess, they just had to make a change, right or wrong, however you feel about it. But
sure,
I was definitely stunned at first, for sure. I didn't expect that to happen at all.
Now with Tua, like, because I'm a fan of him, I just kind of find it weird that when he got drafted, I believe it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think the year that he was a rookie, that started.
Yes.
And they struggled, and everyone was like, you need to put him in. And you put him in there to the starting quarterback, and then everyone has all these concerns. Oh, can he throw the book? Can he throw the long ball? Exactly. Like, do you think that's maybe people aren't really watching the games, or not really?
A lot of them aren't, and they love to just point out the plays where, okay, maybe he didn't make the throw, maybe the ball was underthrown, maybe he didn't make the right read, this and that and the other, and they like to point those out. But there's a ton of tape on him doing really good stuff as well. Right. And, when he was drafted 5th overall, coming off the hip injury at Alabama, there was a lot of, questions about that, and how he's going to recover and this and that and the other. And I believe year 1, it was week 6, maybe, when he made his first start. And now, he's 14-8 as a starter, going with last year when they lost 7 straight.
Right.
But I don't know. Now that he has the weapons, this is his 3rd year. The offensive line does have to do a better job than they did last week. If last week is the worst game they play all year, I'll be very happy. Even though they did win 20-7, but still, like, there's a lot of things that can be improved. But that goes for a lot of teams as well.
And and that's actually a good segue into previewing the game. What did you first start with your positives? What did you see positive in the win against New England? And then what did you see that could be definitely fixed, an improved one for this week?
The positives, well, let's start with Tyreek. He had 12 targets, 8 catches, 94 yards. That's the kind of impact you want to see right out of the gate. I love that. And the gutsy call on 4th and 7 before halftime. If they didn't get it, one play, the Patriots get a first down, they can get points. But they made the right call. Jalen Waddle caught it in between both of them. 2 Patriot guys hit each other, and he was gone. Right. So I really like the gutsy call there. And as Tyreek said, did you see what he said about Mike McDaniel after that?
No, I missed it.
He said he's gonna need a wheelbarrow to push his, what's around. That's got some serious cojones.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something Tyreek would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The defense, they did their thing. Once they started applying pressure instead of just sitting back, that's when they're really most effective. They forced some turnovers, got a few sacks, and the thing negative about Miami so far is still no run game whatsoever. that's one thing that McDaniel's supposed to bring in, is really improve that, and the guys they brought in as well. But they couldn't get it going. Not even 3 yards of carry, I don't think.
Now, kind of, I wanted to follow up on that. So, you guys signed Chase Edmonds during in the offseason. Myles Gaskin last year, I believe he dealt with some COVID issues and a couple injuries. My question is this a system where it's mostly a pass first? Are they going more of a pass? Because it's going to be, I'm kind of I'm actually just is more of a pass first offense.
I wouldn't say that. Not with Mike McDaniel and the style he's ran, especially in San Francisco. The zone read rushing offense. So that's going to take some work to really get that going. I hope they do. I know they have the ability to. But all comes down to the offensive line doing their jobs too.
Right.
And, a team only goes as the O-line goes. They never get enough credit, whether it's right or wrong.
Right. Now, what about when you look at the offense, the biggest question is everybody getting enough at the table to eat. Waddle, Hill, Gesicki. How do you think how much of you think that's going to be an issue as the season progresses?
I don't see it being that. That's a good problem to have, honestly. If you have, that many, playmakers on your offense, of course, Tyreek is going to get his, but that's going to open up some for Waddle as well. Gesicki, the jury's still out as far as, how many looks he's going to get. But they really want to make him more of a blocker. That's why he doesn't really fit in with the style of offense.
Right. I noticed that down the stretch last year.
Yeah.
Especially against the Saints.
In San Francisco with George Kittle, he's great as a receiver and he's also a really good blocker. You have to be able to do it both ways.
Right.
To play in that offense.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Yep. So week 2, Miami Dolphins play the Baltimore Ravens. First home game. It's our first home opener of the season in Baltimore. As a couple, and I'm not sure if you're experiencing this, but we're off to a very interesting week 2, and I am not liking the injuries already. It's been a very, very concerning issue. I believe Marcus Peters still will not play.
Humphrey might be out too.
Humphrey might be out. J.K. Dobbins is not 100. He's hopeful to make his debut. Ronnie Stanley might play. Patrick Ricard's making some progress. Travis Jones may not play. It has just really, really just been a very wonderful start off to the season. It's not just with both of our teams; it's across the league. I think Poche is doubtful to play, and Brandon Stevens is questionable. So I don't know. So there's some key guys for both teams. I know Armstead's questionable for you guys.
Yeah. Jackson just went on IR, 4 games minimum.
Damn.
Yeah, so both tackles. I think Armstead will play. He should be able to play through that with the toe, but those have been the biggest ones so far. And Baltimore lost Kyle Fuller last week.
Yeah, and Jawan James.
Yep. So that secondary might struggle, with the guys we have. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's where I think that's going to be kind of that's why I was looking first, because I can see you guys definitely taking advantage of that, especially getting Tyreek going early.
Yeah.
Even though I think we got some guys that I think can contain him, I think you're going to have to really commit. If you're Baltimore, you're going to really commit to take him out the game. What I mean, take him out the game, like double cover him.
Yeah.
But I mean, that opens up the floodgates for you guys. Other playmakers, Waddle,
Gesicki, and shoot, I can't even. Cedric
Wilson.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think he might do some things tomorrow.
yeah. And then also too, like, do you see your running game taking a step forward in this game? Do you see a significant amount of yards?
Based off, how Baltimore did against the Jets last week, I think the Jets ran the ball 17 times, but they averaged over 5 yards a carry. So, and that was also playing against Joe Flacco. But, they did get some pressures. I think they had 3 sacks and 11 quarterback hits. And the Dolphins last week also gave up 3 sacks and 7 quarterback hits.
Right.
So that's going to be the key for them, is getting pressure on Tua. Because, if he has time to throw and pick the defense apart, especially if the secondary's hurt, playing some rookies in there at corner against those guys, it could get ugly.
I could see that. But I think because last year when we faced the Miami Dolphins, painfully, we lost 22-10.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Offense.
Y'all were decimated by injuries, though, especially offensively.
But it bothered me because we just stuck to the same game plan. Like, it just no adjustments, nothing. And
if they get after Lamar like they did last year again, yeah.
But see, and what was interesting watching them play the Jets, and I'm kind of seeing the same thing I've seen the last 2 seasons. This issue, I don't know, and I think some of it is, I don't know what it is, but they let the play clock run down so low to the point where they got to hurry the snap. Number one, it took really a whole half for the entire offense to realize, and that includes Greg Roman and Harbaugh. Oh, you have to beat the Jets throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Which makes really no sense to me, even though I feel like Lamar should take control of the offense. But historically, watching every quarterback that's been a Baltimore Raven, they've never done that. It's, no, this is the play we're running. We're not changing it. No audible. Like,
you saying as long as Harbaugh's been coach, or
no? This goes back.
Ever.
This ever. Yeah. This Matt Chabala, Brian Billick, all of them. I've seen that with all the quarterbacks. Jeff Blake, Elvis Gerback, Dilfer.
Well, Dilfer on that Super Bowl team, he didn't have to do anything really with that defense, but yeah,
true. But I mean, before that, a lot of people don't know. Before Dilfer, Tony Banks was a starting quarterback, but I think there was like a 7-week stretch where we didn't have a touchdown offensively.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I think the defense scored in just about every one of those games.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I'm looking at your wide receiver core for Miami, Bobby, and you got a lot of speed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you see more of a, if you're Coach McDaniel, do you change your approach with the offense? Because guys, knowing Mike McDonald from Michigan might make the adjustments to slow you guys down, receivers. Do you see that kind of an adjustment being made?
I think, McDaniel's smart enough to look at the film and say, okay, this is what these guys can do, and this is what our guys can do, and just adjust accordingly. Like the good coaches, always are able to do that, adjust to what they have on their side versus what you have on your side. And, instead of just trying to run the same thing and, against everybody, you can't do that and expect to win very many games.
Right. Now, when you looked at the, I want to piggyback on when you talked about the Patriots, because I think one thing you guys did, your defense was the key to beating New England. Just talk about what did you see from last year going into this year defensively? I know you guys didn't make some moves on the defensive end. What do you see different with this Miami defense?
Honestly, not much, really. It's basically the same personnel out there. Same scheme, same defensive coordinator. And like I said earlier, they're best when they apply pressure.
Right.
They don't just sit back and let it come to them. If they're coming at you and force you to make decisions on the fly, that's when they make things happen.
Right. I agree with that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was even though I think the injuries, looking at going week 2, I think there may be some issues, but I think you guys will be okay. Tua did fine. I believe he threw 270 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But in the red zone, you guys were 0 for 2.
That's right.
What happened on those 2 possessions?
I mean, it's hard to say. Week 1 jitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree, because I was surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like, that kind of offense I would have liked to have seen,
especially with a new coach, new scheme coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd expect that in week 1.
Now, with Miami, with the running game for this year, do you see is Chase Edmonds the number 1 guy, or is it a running back committee?
I think Edmonds right now is the clear number 1 guy.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he got 74% of the snaps last week. Mostert is definitely a good guy to have come in, especially on third downs, but both of them are great pass catching backs as well.
Yeah.
If Edmonds did go down, then Mostert is fully capable to come in and step up. I mean, I wouldn't call him a 1A and 1B yet, but
sure.
But as far as the bulk of the carries, I think Edmonds is going to get those, at least right now. Yeah,
I agree. I like that. So, I mean, for Baltimore side, couple things. Jawan James is out for the rest of the season. He tore the same Achilles he tore not last year, the season before.
Oof.
Kyle Fuller tore his ACL. Marcus Peters, even though he's making great progress, he probably won't be back until like about week 3 or 4, maybe 5.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbins is on track. Ronnie Stanley is on. Ronnie Stanley may play. He's been on good track. Our rookie Daniel Falele will get the start. I think we're going to put Patrick McCarry in there, but McCarry's really a guard center.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives me Mike Flynn vibes back in the day. So those are some issues that I see. I think the injuries, particularly with an already a defensive back team last year that definitely lacked depth, especially this early in the season, I'm not really a fan of that at the moment. So really quick, I just had to look at the defensive back. So as of tomorrow, it'll be Jalen Armour-Davis, Brandon Stevens, Demario Williams, Daryl Worley got promoted up to the roster.
He was on the practice squad?
Practice squad, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, other than we signed someone named TJ Carey. So it's going to be interesting, especially containing a pass attack like Miami, where you've got speed along just across that field. The running game for Baltimore, I'm not liking it. I'll be honest.
If Dobbins plays and has 12 to 15 touches, that on the, I mean, probably not conservative side, but
right,
that will help. They did struggle running the ball against the Jets.
But I was confused with that because they had they stacked the box and you put speed out there instead of power. Like Mike Davis should have got more touches.
Everybody was expecting Mike Davis to do something instead of Kenyon Drake.
And Drake.
He just came in the week before?
Yes.
Yeah. So
painfully. Also, as well, looking at the last time, like I said, when we saw you guys, Lamar Jackson was sacked 4 times in that game last year. And I think he only carried him below 40 yards rushing. So I think I could see Baltimore running the ball a little bit more, but I don't think they're going to be afraid to pass it.
Yeah.
I think it's going. I feel like it's going to be a back and forth game, only because both teams, they're going to definitely feel each other out like the first couple possessions.
Yeah, I see the first half being low scoring.
Yeah, I see it. I see that myself. Because that cover zero blitz you guys run, that is very very effective. I'll be honest. I mean, the Mac Jones when he fumbled.
Yep.
Left tackle didn't even read it. That was amazing.
Yeah, Byron Jones just came around the corner. Nobody saw him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you look at for the offensive line for Tua, I like the acquisition of Armstead from New Orleans. I just was not expecting that injuries already to creep up, and then Austin Jackson's out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how you contain Calais Campbell, Odafe Owe, Queen, those guys. I can see McDonald kind of going at Tua a little bit. So but I think the difference between going into this matchup tomorrow and last year, Baltimore just didn't have the necessary weapons. I just, like you said, you mentioned it. We were practicing. We just had guys off the street.
Yeah.
Like, I still think, honestly and truthfully, it was fool's gold. Like, it was great. We're 8-3, but like, I look back on it now. No, it wasn't worth it.
Yep.
It wasn't.
And that was the first game that started the winning streak for us, I think.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. When they ripped off 7 straight.
I think we lost. Yeah. And for us, I think we lost 6. We finished the season off with a 6-game losing streak.
Yep. Yeah. Us, exact opposite. Week 1 against New England, then lost 7 straight, then won 7 straight, got blown out at Tennessee, then won the finale.
Yep. That was great. Yep. Definitely. Also, too, I'm not sure if you've paid attention to this. I'm pretty sure you have. But your front 7 arguably could be top 10.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Jalen Phillips.
He's only going to get better.
Is there more creativity from what it was last year? I know you said pretty much had the same personnel, but I see a little bit some different stops.
Time will tell. I don't think they've really opened up the book just yet. We'll probably see some different things tomorrow, especially playing against, quarterback like Lamar versus a quarterback like Mac Jones, completely different styles.
Right.
They're going to blitz a ton, I can imagine, tomorrow. And, you mentioned Jalen Phillips. He's only going to get better. And, also Javon Holland at free safety.
Right.
The draft last year for us was a home run. Probably one of the best drafts they've ever had.
I agree. I agree, because especially last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. And then Waddle on the other side. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I expect Waddle to have I don't see a sophomore slump. I kind of I see consistency.
His catch numbers are going to come down. I think his yardage might actually go up, though, especially his yak after the catch. Because I don't think he averaged quite 10 yards a reception last year.
Nope.
But Tyreek's definitely going to cut into his catches, but he'll still be very effective.
I agree with that,
because they can mix and match those guys. One guy goes deep, another guy underneath. It's going to drive D coordinators crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I agree because I kind of see. I don't want to say like I'm going back old school. A few years ago when you guys had Chad Pennington and those boys, the Wildcat offense, like for like the whole season, no one figured that offense out.
Yep.
Like it was crazy.
Nobody in the league had seen anything like it before.
That.
Yeah, it's like a high school style offense.
That's still one of my favorite Dolphin teams. That's one of my favorite Dolphin teams.
It was a fun year to watch for sure.
I just like, wow. And unfortunately, it got figured out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Painfully. But I mean, like, just to watch the whole season and like nobody could figure this out. Like, I never seen anything like that.
Yeah. Just standing around looking, who has the ball?
Right.
Next thing you know, touchdown. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then really quick with the Ravens, when we beat the Jets, Willie ran the ball. Lamar Jackson ran the ball 17 times. I believe Kenyon Drake, he ran for 11, had about under 40 yards.
Yeah.
That was about a little under 300 yards. I will say a positive on the defensive side. We only allowed 2 out of 14 third downs against the Jets.
Yeah, it's also playing against Flacco. So,
but then also too, like, he didn't have his offensive line. Another one. He didn't have 2 offensive linemen in that game as well. So, yeah, I don't know really what to expect tomorrow. I really don't.
It can go either way, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down to who gets more stops on defense, especially third downs. And which defense can stay off the field.
Yes, that's going to be definitely
the
key. Especially, I think, hopefully, my biggest issues, well, other than the injuries, is knowing the game clock. Knowing, like, okay, we got 14 seconds. We need to get to the line. We shouldn't be getting to the line in 7 seconds.
Right.
That can't happen. And then
those are things that can easily be fixed. But
then Greg Roman, like, hold on really quick. I'm gonna shout out to my guy Russell Goodacre, also a Raven fan. He sent me the screenshot, and I literally wanted to throw up. So this is what it was said. So, and I quote: "We can shorten play calls and simplify things, but sometimes it's good to drain the clock." Did say that there were also times they didn't want to drain the clock and said need to be more efficient.
It depends on the situation and, what point you're at in the game, I suppose. But yeah. Did you reply to him?
I mean, that's the screenshot he sent me. What was said in the presser. I've seen that for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I thought it would have been fixed. I think Harbaugh made it very clear that if we didn't see anything fixed, time's up. And I know it's only week 2, but I don't know. I guess you just the order as it could just no. This is just my way. This is how I'm running the offense. Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
But my patience with Greg Roman is running all but out.
Yeah.
But give me your prediction, because the last time you, like I said, it's last 5. I think you guys are. I think it's tied evenly, or you might
playing against Baltimore.
Last 5 meetings. I think we're 3-2.
I'm not sure. Let's see.
And then give me your prediction score. What are you looking along the lines of?
Well, Vegas has Baltimore as 3.5-point favorites, I believe. But I do believe it's going to be probably a field goal type game. Maybe who has the ball last. But I got to go with my guys, of course. So I'll say Miami 24, Baltimore 21.
I like that.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Hey, guaranteed.
Okay. I can see it that way too. I think it's going to come down to game of possessions.
Yeah.
And not making and capitalizing on mistakes. I think it's also going to come down to discipline, and I think injuries. Let's see, like, what because you're missing some guys, we're missing some guys. It's gonna be really interesting to really kind of see how both teams adjust.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna keep it close to. I'm gonna say Baltimore 23, Miami 20.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, it can go either way.
Yeah.
But it should be somewhere in that neighborhood, I bet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, really, I didn't get a really chance to ask this, and we could close it out with this. What are your now that the AFC East is not ran by New England? I mean, obviously, now it's Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I did a preview with Sean Spencer, and I think along with you guys, New England and Buffalo, the three of you guys are going to have 10 or more wins.
You think New England will is also?
I think New England, knowing them, I think they still have the same personnel.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to. I just give them like another couple. Give them this week. I think they'll regroup.
Is Belichick going to start calling offensive plays instead of Matt Patricia and Joe Judge? Like, that's about two of the worst guys you could have.
I mean, he doesn't really have anybody else because pretty much everybody left with he went to Vegas.
McDaniels.
Thank you.
Yeah,
everyone's pretty much gone.
McDaniels, yeah.
So,
yeah, everybody out of the Belichick tree. They go off and get head coaching jobs, and they fail, and then they come right back.
Yeah, I know Troy Brown is their receivers coach.
Okay.
So,
Wes Welker's ours.
Yes, because I still think Wes Welker should be, in my eyes, will always be a Dolphin, not a Patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's hard to remember those days after seeing, all those years and what they did there. But yeah.
Yep.
And then we went to Denver also. But.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's actually going to conclude the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. Bobby, appreciate you for joining.
Absolutely.
Really quick, do you have a closing message? A closing message can be anything, like it could be something positive, something you want to bring people's attention, just to say what's on your mind.
I'll just stick with the game tomorrow. Let's just have a good, safe day for both teams, not just our teams, but everywhere around the league. Hopefully there won't be a lot of injuries because I know, we know a lot of people, fans of different teams.
Yep.
And we have a good, clean game. And let's go Dolphins.
I like it. Same thing too. I'm hoping this week's a little bit better.
Yeah.
I do have some concerns as the season progresses that we weren't even out of week one, and we had guys and this is across the league already out the season. Mm-hmm. Like I saw a star quarterback Thursday night literally on the field playing hurt, even though he was trying to will his team to win.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been out there.
Yeah.
With all due respect. I love Justin Herbert, but I'm not liking these injuries, and we're not even at week 2 yet. Week 2 is officially tomorrow, but
Dak's already out. With him though, it's a little different. Just smacking the helmet and breaking your hand happens to the best of them. But let me ask you one more thing. Speaking of injuries, how do you feel about Harbaugh's comments with the artificial turf? Do you think that's becoming a cause?
No,
I
don't think so. I think a lot of it is
the same thing.
I think a lot of it comes down to how guys are conditioning. I think sometimes guys, I think we need to know learn our bodies and understand that we have limits. When I watched, he was running Tariq Cohen, running back for the Bears, literally on Instagram. It was on YouTube. He was on Instagram Live. He's training, and you hear his Achilles pop.
Yeah,
like I just think it's just the way guys are conditioning. I think there's a little bit of overdoing it, and especially when you're in the season where you got to factor in travel, practice. You don't really have a lot of rest days.
Yep.
I mean, turf doesn't turf, grass don't change anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, some guys are definitely more prone than others, but football is a violent game. Injuries can happen to anyone at any time.
I agree. You know, I definitely agree with that.
That's it.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the episode. Again, Bobby, appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys in episode 26 where we preview the Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions. And shout out to Sean Spencer and his lovely fiance, Kat Hughes, as they're out there, got their go to watch the Michigan football team. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.
All right. Thanks, Nate.
Yes. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you.
All right.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.
I'm finna jump for this shit. All top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the nightsticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the field. Say vivid for the ears, I know that's how they like it. Yeah, I fantasize. Tell me that it's real when it's all said and done. I said it how I fit it. I let them hit the fear of a passive aggressive angry black man with a passion. Steady grip when I shoot to the stars with a full clip. Trying line with a loose leaf, then I proofread till I lose sleep. Couldn't handle the truth, you bed with the writing. Love at first sight shit, art over hype shit. Need a sound bite for the time capsule. Press play, they pause time for a bit. Smitten, I admit it, couldn't kick it. I'm in love with the fine print. Scribble type of shit they wouldn't find behind it. Why the suspicious behind the eyelid. Tell her reckless with the clauses. Careful with the cost me. Need this shit forever, but I never ever stop until they put me in the coffin or they off me. Fuck niggas quick to auction, they false print. Always read this shit with a